Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of the Just Interesting podcast. Season 3. Here we are, episode 90. And this is the show where we talk about things that we find, well, just interesting. And joining me, Alex, today are, of course, Robin and Martin. Robin, how are you?
Oh, I'm well, thank you, Alex. I'm doing all right. Enjoying this sunny heat, which is definitely my cup of tea in the British Isles. It's why I moved here from my mother's womb to enjoy the sunshine. I'm not genetically built for this, but doing well. How are you doing? It sounds like you've got a bit of a cold there.
I'm a little bit nasally. Yes, I'm on the mend after having COVID over the past week, but you know all about that, Robin, and its joys.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Thankfully, it hasn't hit me too bad, and I'm basically back to normal now. It just sounds nasally. So apologies to the listeners out there of this podcast if you get to enjoy my nasally voice over the next hour or so. But enough about me. Martin, how are you?
I'm well. I love the first of all. I love the energy at the start there. Considering you know, recovering from COVID,
it's the season finale, Martin.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
We've got to have energy, of course.
Yeah, 100%. Great energy, Alex. Great energy.
I can't remember. Is this the first time you've had COVID or the second?
This is the first time.
You were both caught up in this wave then.
Yeah. It's the wave to be caught in.
Yeah, I was starting to think I was immune or something. You know, I was Ellie from The Last of Us. You know.
Spoilers, mate.
But apparently not. That's literally when you get introduced to Ellie.
Spoilers for the TV series for those who haven't played the games. No, I don't know. That's fine. No, I'm good though. I'm good. Busy. I've been busy but good. You know, in those kind of waves of busyness and then non-busy. But it's boring. It's boring stuff. It's work stuff. That's not fun. No one wants to work on a podcast unless it's like interesting stuff, and it's just boring. It's just boring. But what isn't work is the topic of someone else has done the work for us, haven't they, Robin? And in regards to the topic of this week's podcast, which is
sorry,
or Alex or Robin. I believe Robin. I mean, I can't remember. I mean,
you've called on Robin, so let's let Robin introduce it. What are we talking about this week?
I thought Robin was going to do a bit of an overview of what's been cracking this week with a
it's exciting times. This goes back to something that I think we first talked about on like this current iteration of our lives many years ago, almost a decade ago, in fact. When the channel that shall not be named started, we first talked about this particular subject. And this week in the news, breaking news, listeners of this podcast, our loyal viewers, and in fact one of our patrons, Simon Workman, drew to our attention the tale of the Somerton man, the mysterious dead body that was found on Somerton Beach in South Australia in 1948. An unsolved mystery that may now, thanks to modern technology and DNA analysis, and frankly the persistence of a very determined researcher, be solved.
Yes. So that's basically what I was trying to say, is that was exciting work done by the researcher, and we're going to be talking about it today. Yeah. But butchered that completely, so thanks for clearing that up.
Well, I almost butchered it.
This is the joys of us being live, Martin. And speaking of us being live, if you are listening to this at a later date and you'd like to catch the podcast live in future so you can interact with us in real time, then feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube over at Just Interesting on YouTube, and you can catch us live. And you can correct our mistakes as and when we go. And speaking to those of you who may have just joined us, I can only apologize because this podcast up until now has been unlisted on the channel. So I've just set it to public. So thanks everyone for joining in immediately. Angelos87, welcome to the chat. Java Dog, welcome. Aaron Lee, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully more people will filter in. But for those of you who didn't catch it, today we are going to be discussing the mystery of the Somerton man. But before we get started with that, we first have to discuss some things that we've learned this week. And then after that, we will be talking about some of our favorite comments from the YouTube this week. And then, of course, we will be doing the season finale quiz between Robin and Martin. Now, Robin, unfortunately, you can't win the iconic, fabled Orson Welles mug.
No, I can't.
Because you're a bit behind. But you can stop Martin from gaining outright victory this season. Because if you win, then I guess me and Martin will have to do some sudden death
showdown.
There's going to be some kind of playoff, hasn't there?
Yeah. Which actually I haven't planned for, because this is the season finale, so I don't know when we're going to address that. We'd have to address that in the next episode.
We'll address it in the next episode, the debut of season 4.
Yes.
I will prepare some special medieval test for you both to pass.
I mean, it doesn't matter anyway, Robin, because Martin still has the mug, and he's not going to send. Even if I win, he's not going to send it to me. So
he's holding it hostage.
The
thing is, we laugh and we joke about this in the live podcast, but then we never talk about it outside of it. So it's this like.
I always say send me your address. Alex,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, cool.
Pretty sure I have.
I'm pretty sure you've also sent it. I could probably try and search for it, but that's not the point. The point is, it's safe. It's attributed. It's a bit like an NFT, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it exists or not.
I haven't even seen it. You can see NFTs at least,
and you can have the receipt for it, and that's fine then, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's the bit I enjoy most about this, apart from obviously Alex's understandable frustration at not possessing the trophy which he won, is the fact that every single episode we go by, we're talking, we're laughing, we're having a great time, the mug comes up and Martin says, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around, and he's got these wonderful decorations. Anyone watching us
on your mantelpiece, Martin? This is a trophy.
Good question.
Oh dear.
It's not even like you're not even showing it off like as to kind of taunt us.
Exactly.
Like, look what I'm drinking
I can't
from.
do that. I can't. Yeah, no.
To be fair, I think you've done it once or twice. Martin has had it there over his shoulder.
I have.
To gloat.
I have actually. I have. But I'm not going to do it at the season finale. Otherwise, it's like when people come to the World Cup final with like winners 2020, and then they lose and they have to walk home with the winners 2020 banner or hide it somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going to embarrass myself in that way. It would almost be trying to claim victory for what would potentially be a draw and then a loss next week. It's kind of like going to extra time and then losing, but claiming you're winning. Anyway, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But
well, anyway, I really hope that Robin wins this week, and then it puts it into some kind of contention. I can still win the season, but we'll see.
I'll do my best, but my record hasn't been great lately.
And you'll be happy to hear that I actually wrote this quiz a couple of weeks ago, so it's not in favor of any one of you, but I guess you're just going to have to take me up my word for that.
And Alex announces the theme of this quiz is the news this week. And we're like, what? 2 weeks ago we got what? I can't remember that far back. What?
No. Well, I don't know what would be ideal for Robin, I guess, like a cinema quiz, movies.
What was your
quiz?
What was your degree? Or cinema and history, like Celtic history. Would that be pretty good for you, Robin?
Middle Age.
Well, I'm wearing a Battle of Hastings t-shirt right now, actually, so that's kind of appropriate. Yeah, that was what I studied. Yeah, that kind of early medieval history of the British Isles. Don't do it at like China; that would be no good to me. But you could do cinema. You could do cinema, but it would have to be avoiding James Bond because Martin is hot on James Bond.
Martin is.
Well, you're equally, if not more hot. Well, actually more. Definitely. Hot on James Bond, especially if it came down to the nitty gritty. Then I'm giving away the secrets. Alex is quickly scribbling to change the quiz.
Well, I'll tell you both now. There is a James Bond question in the quiz because I know you are both hot on James Bond. So
we're both hot on James Bond.
So there you go. And
what's your favorite Bond, Martin? Oh, sorry, interrupting the flow already. Just got to know.
What's your favorite Bond, Martin?
Probably the best of Bond. My favorite Bond. My favorite Bond is probably I like From Russia with Love, and I've got a soft spot for You Only Live Twice, although it's commonly rated as one of the lower Sean Connery films. But those two I really, really like.
I'm just checking to see if any of those related to the quiz question, so I can quickly rewrite it. But no, it didn't, so that's fine.
I also like Casino Royale as well. That's a great film. I like all of them. Though the more I watch them, the more I realise that there are actually very few that are objectively good movies.
I was going to say the more you watch them, the more you like them, especially the racist ones.
I love it, but I watch Octopussy and I'm like, this is just not. It's not good. I like James Bond, I like the franchise, but it's not a good film.
The 80s was a bad era for Bond. Bad time.
Yeah, when people say Moore is their favorite. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds here. When people say Moore is their favorite Bond,
this is what happens when I bring up Bonds with these two. I just kind of slowly glaze over and then sit back as the conversation unfurls. But no, I'm going to move this on. I'm going to move this on.
Please do.
quickly as we do, and ask you both what you've learned this week. But before I ask you both that, actually, I want to say to the audience, as I'm getting into the habit of doing now, if you've learned something interesting this week, let us know in the comments on YouTube and we'll read it out. And we don't have a fact checker with us, so you can say something and we're not going to fact check it. We're just going to take it, we're going to put our trust in you that it's correct. So if you've learned an interesting fact this week, feel free to let us know in the comments on YouTube. Robin, what have you learned this week?
What have I learned this week? Any cat lovers in the audience? Anyone watching us now live? Martin or Alex?
It's a strong start.
Should
You're
we
both
turn
quite
off?
cat lovers. Well, maybe turn off, but also I learned something new. And apparently in the UK alone, house cats, domesticated cats, kill an estimated 275 million prey a year.
Wow.
55 million of which are birds. The rest are mice and things like that.
I can vouch for this. I can attest. I picked up a dead bird today that my cat killed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cats on the table, dead birds in the bin. So there we go.
How people talk about how cats being incredibly damaging in general for wildlife and stuff, but how damaging is that? Is that decimating populations?
Well, it's bad enough that what I learned this week was that a Polish scientific institute has decided to categorize domestic cats as an invasive alien species.
Wow.
A threat to local wildlife that needs to be culled.
Oh dear.
Oof. Wow,
Yeah.
strong words.
And
Strong
this is
words.
house cats as well. This isn't just wild cats. This is house cats.
Well, I guess they are the majority now, aren't they? So interesting. Okay.
And then, but backed up actually by Dr. Rebecca Thomas from the Royal Holloway University of London, who says that all the criteria for the definition of an alien invasive species are 100% met by the cat.
Yikes.
Incidentally, the scientist who decided to categorize them as an invasive alien species does not own a cat, but does own a dog.
Oh, they're a dog.
Right,
people.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would say is it's probably true. Is the recommendation to then keep your cat inside potentially rather than cull cats?
That could be a solution.
House cats, yeah. Or what about people getting a cattery, an outside area of their garden that they put a net
dedicated
around?
Potentially. My cat, the last place he's on the table now. Get down. The last place we lived, he brought in dragged giant pigeons through the cat flap.
Oh, Martin!
Mental wood pigeons. Yeah.
If the culling of cats ever comes into full force,
he's first.
You're knocking on him right now. You're grassing him up.
Yeah. Gestapo style. Yeah.
Dean Carpenter in the chat says, my cat only ever brought me insects it killed.
Not so good.
What kind of insects is your cat bringing you?
It's kind of impressive. Yeah. Catching flies is tough.
Are you living in a country with those giant insects because of the hot, humid weather, perhaps? Because over here, you could potentially get spiders, some of the bigger spiders potentially. Yeah.
Doom says, speaking of spiders, Doom says our cat used to bring in live spiders, big ones. Oh my god.
Oh, that's not good.
No,
mostly cockroaches. But if they're dead, actually, from Dean, mostly spiders and cockroaches, he says. So, yeah, that's okay, isn't it? The dead cockroaches, you're getting rid of them. No problem.
Don't they bring their eggs inside? Don't they have all their eggs on the back?
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Robin. That's brought a lot of colour to the conversation, and I really respect that. Thank you.
Yeah. What did you learn this week?
What did I learn this week?
What did you learn?
Speaking of animals and the animal kingdom, I learned of a word, I guess, called carcinization. Have either of you heard of this?
No.
Nope.
So it's a type of convergent evolution, but it's an odd phenomena where things keep evolving into crabs.
What?
Things just keep evolving into crabs.
When was this released? April 1st?
No.
That sounds mental.
No. So convergent evolution is when things completely independent of, they're not linked at all, animals evolve into the same kind of subspecies. Like I think octopus is another one that it's thought that that's happened before. But carcinization is the phenomena where things keep evolving into crabs. And it's believed that carcinization has occurred independently in at least 5 groups of decapod crustaceans. So king crabs, porcelain crabs, the hairy stone crab, and hermit crabs are all thought to have evolved completely independently from one another.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is that I think we, as the human race, should abandon evolution and embrace crab people. That's what I mean, we should do.
The old cliche is, cockroaches will take over the world after the apocalypse because they're the only creatures that will survive. But actually, sounds like the crab's is the species to be.
Yeah,
it does make you wonder though. Why crabs? Like, what's the? I mean, I'm not even smart enough to speculate on this, but why do things keep evolving into crabs? Is it their like armor? Do they have armor? Is it the claws? The walking sideways? What is it? What's giving them the evolutionary advantage?
And maybe that's an additional fact for next week. But yeah, not enough space, got to walk sideways. I mean, that could happen. That could happen in our cities. People start walking sideways.
Yeah.
That's mad.
It does make you wonder though, the whole theory of if we ever found aliens, intelligent life in the universe, that what if convergent evolution happens elsewhere in the universe, and if we found aliens, they would look exactly like us. They would just be humans. Not even just humanoids. They would just be humans, like apes, I
mean, there is actually, I think, a very small minority school of thought that suggests that alien life will look like humans, but it's not. I don't think it originates from scientists with a reputation for sound evolutionary theory. I think it's those.
It's just those kind of idiots like me on podcasts speculating.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, I think those kind of scientists who think climate change isn't a thing and human species has only progressed since the beginning of time, and we are the ultimate form of creature, and therefore nothing in the universe can surpass the human being kind of school of thought, which makes no sense, because as soon as you just punch a drunk man and see what happens, we are not the ultimate form of species.
I mean,
that's the example.
We are kind of someone who's drunk, though. Crabs can't even punch someone, so
isn't there that thing? Oh no, it's not a crab, is it? There's that punching shrimp, isn't there?
I haven't seen the.
Do you remember the punch? What's it called again? It's a shrimp, and it's got like a massive claw, and it punches it, and it punches it so fast it creates a kind of jet vacuum in front of it, which just knocks over and can knock out other animals just from the force of the air in the water.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
I'd be scared to see your YouTube algorithm, Robin.
Dean Carpenter says it's the mantis shrimp. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. Dean also says some scientists believe octopi are aliens as their DNA is unique and different to other animals. I think I have heard that before.
Is that one of the ones we can't fact check?
Yeah.
It sounds like that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at octopuses and the way that they can they're basically a fluid. They're
amazing.
Get into the smallest holes and change colors and stuff. And you do think that's not of this world, is it?
I love watching the ones that change color, that can camouflage themselves. It's so cool.
It's so
I love it when you put them on, a checkerboard floor in the bottom of a fish tank, and they try to disguise themselves as squares. And they just can't do it.
Is that something you do on a regular basis, Robin?
Yes.
I love every night you do that.
I love it.
I haven't seen that though. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. Look it up.
So, Martin.
Yes.
Can you top all these animal facts this has turned into?
No, I can't. My fact's about a very, very boring river.
Okay. Well.
So the second oldest river in the world runs through North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia in the United States.
Okay.
It's 320 miles long, and it's estimated to be as old as 360 million years old on the upper end. And it's a wide variety of estimates, but based on some of the rocks around it that are 300 million years old, is estimated to be roughly that age.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, its name as the second oldest river in the world is New River.
Well, there's one,
That's
and
my
then
fact.
there's another one. So yeah,
it's the New River. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the new
exactly.
one. Yeah.
That's great.
So
Nice, very nice. Well, thank you for that, Martin. So shall we move on to some of our favourite comments of this week? Yeah. Did either of you have a good comment from one of the previous podcasts, or any comments that are going live currently?
I found a good comment I wanted to just draw people's attention to because it amused me. And it was from Elizabeth on our last episode, which was about the feet that keep washing up inside trainers on these beaches in Canada. And Elizabeth says, I thought maybe it was mermaids who couldn't be bothered by figuring out how to take off the shoes. But I guess the science makes more sense.
Fair enough.
So,
yes.
Yeah, we didn't mention that in the podcast. Mermaids
as an option, mermaids.
We
Yeah.
mentioned aliens, but not mermaids. So
true.
That's a very good point.
I've got a comment.
Sorry. After you, Martin.
I've got a comment from Random Bogey, and they say, "Are we sure they're using a foot of a dog and not a dog bone chew from like a pig that more closely resembles that of a human bone?" And I think that's a bloody good question. And then they go on to say, if your goal is to mess with people, you'd probably want a bone that's at least of a similar size to a human. Like if you stuck a pig's joint bone in a shoe, at first glance, it would look a lot more like a human ankle.
Well, I remember this coming up in the podcast, and I was confused because when you say a dog bone, I was thinking of one of those ones that a dog chews on, and it would be like they would put it in the shoe, and it would be like comically like a comic book bone type thing.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. And this
funny thing.
This did make me think potentially the wording of the original article might have been slightly off, because it does make more sense for it to resemble that. Although pigs have trotters, don't they? Like a pig, it doesn't look like a foot either, does it? Neither of them do.
But if it's just the bones, it's the bones of the ankle joint itself might be enough. I don't know.
Is that as big? It's nowhere near as big as a human, surely. Human foot. Anyway, I mean, we're getting into semantics, but if anyone wants to look at this comment, it goes on and on and on about dog's feet, swimming in a human shoe. It's quite an elaborate comment. Let's be honest. But I think
it's almost suspiciously
core
elaborate.
of this comment,
I think they know a bit too much.
They have been stuffing pigs' feet into shoes for many a year. So anyway, that was Random Bogey's comment. But good question. Could it have been? I mean, a dog's foot in a full-size trainer. Maybe if we had a child's trainer, maybe. But we're talking about an adult. Size 12 was one of the first ones that washed up. So big foot. It would be swimming, no pun intended, in the shoe. Yeah.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I've also got a comment from last week's podcast from Becca, which I thought was interesting and worth bringing up. She says, a foot inside a trainer was found on a beach in southern New South Wales, Australia, a couple of years ago. The foot was found to be that of Melissa Caddick, who was an embezzler and was last seen in Sydney. The foot was found 400 kilometres away. The beach where the foot was found was a beach Caddick holidayed regularly as a child. So it does happen elsewhere in the world. And I thought that was interesting because that is also a bit too coincidental for my liking. Her foot washed up 400 kilometers away on the beach that she holidayed as a child. I don't know. That feels almost intentional. That can't be coincidental.
A fake. Faked her own death.
An interesting one. I mean, she faked her own death. She had to cut off her foot, put it on the beach, then go die. And the foot would be decomposed. I don't know. A coincidence, perhaps, or someone. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it is coincidental if she's from that place around that area, and if you got lost in the, I don't know. Yeah, it could be coincidence. Yeah.
Guys, I've got
mixed feelings.
I've got to interrupt you. C.S. Drummerson on YouTube has just donated $10 to us. How lovely is that?
Wow.
Thank you so
much. They say, I just got caught up with the podcast and became a patron to get a little more. I love listening to you at the gym. Keep it up, fellas. That's
cool.
So kind of you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you so much. That's incredibly generous.
And I'm always interested to learn where people are listening to this podcast, what they're doing while they listen to this podcast. So that's always interesting to find that out. So thank you.
Yeah. We've had some really interesting people like to listen to us when they're walking. A lot of people when they're working, people like Caleb in the gym. So thanks for that, Caleb. No one has yet
fall asleep.
Yeah, that's actually the most common thing. Yeah. Normally I listen to you guys when I go to bed and fall asleep.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a contrast from the gym. It's like, are we the people that kind of get you pumped up for the gym? I don't know.
I think so. I think so. I want to hear Alex's smooth, calming voice when I'm getting ready for an hour's session in the gym. It's what keeps me so muscular.
Well, this one's for you, Caleb. Do it. Push it. Do one more. Give me one more rep. Go for it, Caleb. You got this.
That's a soundbite right there.
That's for you. That's for you, Caleb.
Has anybody ever listened to us whilst making love? That's what we want to know.
Robin,
please
we're live. You
tell
can't
us in the comments.
audience
And if
questions
not,
like that.
Why not?
They don't have to answer. I'm just putting the question out there. It's for science. It's for science. We're doing some market research, guys. Martin's got this kind of idea for a spin-off involving some products that generate noise whilst they vibrate. And so we thought maybe, is it worth going down the production line and putting our voices into these kind of products without knowing whether people actually want them? So please do tell Martin at Martinteresting on Twitter. He wants to know. He wants to know if you listen to us whilst making love. To anybody, however many people, 0 to 5, just let us know. The upper limit is not necessarily 5. I just feel like my personal upper limit might be 5 simultaneously, but I don't know. I haven't tested this theory.
Well, Paul Wright says I was asked to change the podcast.
Oh, that's a shame.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Wonderful.
Oh dear.
No, but truly, do tell us. Right.
Well, Christina says yes. We've got at least one. We've got one. Yes, I have from Christina Dallin. So thank you, Christina.
Oh, there we go.
Right. Shall we move on to the main topic this week before
Yes,
this
please.
podcast descends even further off the rails? So this week, so this week we wanted to discuss the mystery of the Somerton man and some new evidence that has come up that could have that could have solved the mystery for good. And it'll be interesting to get everyone's takes on this. But shall I just run through the story for those of you who may not have heard of it before?
Yes, please.
So, on December the 1st, 1948, in Adelaide, Australia, the body of a clean-shaven man wearing a brown suit was discovered on Somerton Beach at around 6:30 in the morning. There didn't appear to be any signs of physical violence, and the body was propped up against, the sea wall on the beach. There was no identification on the body, and despite many attempts, officials were never able to identify the man or the cause of death. However, 4 months after his death, a clue was found in a secret pocket in the man's trousers that led investigators down a rabbit hole of clues and inquiries that would solidify this case as one of the most mysterious of all time. It was a scrap of paper with the words "Tamam Shud" written on it. In Persian, this means "it is ended." So who was this unknown man? Let's get into the mystery. So, yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. There was no signs of physical violence, and there was no kind of determination of what the actual cause of death was. They found during the autopsy that he had an abnormally large spleen and possibly had internal bleeding, but it didn't look like he was attacked, and they couldn't rule out poison as a cause of death. So I think,
but when they investigated his final meal in his stomach, there was no trace of poison, was there?
Oh, okay, fair enough. So they ruled it out.
No, they didn't. I was just saying.
There was no evidence that he was poisoned.
I believe the coroner said the likely cause of death was poison, but they found no traces of any poison. So it was one of those. It must be an unknown poison. And how often does that come up?
Yeah, it was some ricin or something. I don't know. Something very rare, or who knows. But again, that was just one mystery in this ever-expanding, mysterious case. So when this scrap of paper was found 4 months after the body was discovered, police determined it it had come from a very rare book called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which was an 11th century collection of Persian poems. They also found a suitcase that had been checked into the Adelaide's train station the day before the body was found. This suitcase contained various items, including a knife, boot polish, a stenciling brush used on merchant ships, as well as some clothes, most of which, interestingly, had their labels removed. However, whoever removed the labels didn't do a thorough enough job, as written on one of the ties was the name T. Keane. However, unfortunately, the police ran a search on the name and found nobody had been reported missing in any English-speaking country with that name T. Keane. So maybe it was a red herring left there on purpose by whoever cut out the labels, but we just don't know. We don't even know why they cut out these labels. And there was something else about the clothes as well. With all these clothes and all the kind of labels being meticulously cut out, the man had packed several outfits, but there just weren't any socks. No socks. Which I always found was a weird part of the story.
Yeah.
Why you're packing a suitcase?
well-dressed man with only one pair of socks that he's wearing seems a bit odd.
I mean, was there any indicator of what shoes he had with him? Because he might not have needed socks. Although I think being well dressed, do you think you would?
I don't think he was wearing any Nike Air Max or anything like that. I think he was just wearing some regular smartish
shoes.
I mean, actually, I've got a picture of the shoes that he was wearing. They look like those look like slippers and nightwear. The picture of the investigators opening up his
like
suitcase.
loafers.
Oh, okay. It looks like slipper. Yeah, loafery, slippery things. Yeah. Nice. So potentially no shoes isn't as much of a big deal. But anyway, an interesting point.
Yeah. But it was weird though. Did you, based on what they found in the suitcase at this point, do you guys have any theories about who he might have been, just based on the items alone? So just to remind you again, it was a knife, boot polish, a stenciling brush used on merchant ships, and clothes, obviously, with their labels removed. Do you have any ideas? Because for me, the brush stood out.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only clue to any kind of profession. My initial thought, maybe some traveling salesman, but he's got no wares to sell. But a merchant navy brush would suggest he's in the Navy or had been in the Navy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could just be a sailor. Like this is used on merchant ships.
Just on a weekend off. Yeah,
no socks. Your feet often get wet if you're on the ships. Potentially, that's a reason why to not bother having them, so you can dry your feet quicker.
Good point. Felt like he didn't need more than a single pair.
Yeah.
Didn't he also have an unusual coat?
Oh, I don't know about the coat. Tell me.
I think he had a coat that wasn't available in Australia. But the stitching suggested it was made in America.
Okay.
However, it wasn't imported because they would have had records of it being imported from America to Australia, especially for him. So he somehow got hold of this American coat.
Weird. Well, I think all of these points in the mystery just provide more questions than answers at the moment. So let's carry on. So with this name found on the tie being a dead end, investigators had no leads and no idea who was responsible for the man's death, or even who he was. They published details of his death and asked the public to come forward if they knew anything related to the case. 4 months after their request, a man walked into the police station with a copy of the book, The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. At the back of the book, it had a page torn that matched the scrap of paper found on the body. The man, named John Freeman, claimed he was parked near Somerton Beach on the day the body was found. He discovered the book in his car, but didn't think anything of it until he heard the details of the case, at which point he brought it to the police. Which, I'm happy with that explanation, to be honest. You wouldn't really go to the police with someone's put a book in my car. Like that, you're not going to go to the police until something comes up.
No, that's fair enough.
It is weird, though, that if that's his book, he takes it with him to the town, but then just tosses it into the back of another person's car randomly, whilst he's hidden the relevant bit he's torn out inside his secret pocket in his clothing.
I mean, we don't know that this was him. We don't know that this was the Somerton man who did this.
That's true.
This could be an assassin sending a message, wanting
well, and
to be
with
discovered.
with the identity, the mysterious clothes as well, and potentially being an import from America. It could be that he was dressed in these clothes by someone else. Maybe they weren't even his clothes.
That's a very
with the labels cut out to change, to not be able to identify them. But anyway, yes, Alex, carry on.
Well, so at this point there were, you're basically where I think they were thinking at this point, like maybe he was a spy, maybe he was assassinated by a government group or something. The note is that a suicidal note? It has ended. To me, that seems more like someone sending a message to whoever found the note. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that feels like, or it is finished. Sounds like it was intended for someone else.
If it is a suicide note, it seems like the classiest, most cryptic suicide note you could.
It is finished.
You could give like it is finished in Persian from a specific collection of poetry.
That's true. True.
Yes, very specific.
It's a pretty classy way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, and hidden in his trousers so that nobody knows.
Thankfully, yeah. The investigation didn't end here because there were more clues in this book. So on the inside cover of the book was a phone number, as well as what appeared to be a cipher, which I don't believe has ever been solved, unless the new evidence has come forward. But no. So this has never been solved. However, the phone number did lead investigators to a nurse named Jessie Thompson. She denied knowing the Somerton man, but apparently reacted strangely when she was shown a plaster cast model of his face. One report even said that she nearly fainted and refused to look at the cast again. But I mean, I don't know how much that indicates that she knew him or if she was just freaked out with seeing a dead body, even if it was just a plaster cast of a dead body.
Death masks are quite
pretty
spooky.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Also, interestingly, she claimed she used to own a copy of the Rubaiyat, this book, this very rare book, but had given it to a man named Alf Boxall, a lieutenant during World War II.
Oh.
So at this point, investigators were thinking, is this our man, Alf Boxall? However, they tried tracking him down, and they did track him down, and not only was he alive, but he still had his copy of this book, the Rubaiyat. So that's strange. This is a very rare book, and it's just owned by 3 people connected to the case.
Unless someone was given a fake and wanted to hunt down whoever gets sold them the fake and collect their real prize.
It's weird, isn't it? Why was her number in this other book? If she owned a copy already and gave that to someone else, and the other person could produce that copy.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense. Other than if they were dealing in rare books and got their number as a result of that. I don't know. Yeah, not sure.
Yeah. It's very odd. They did determine, though, that there did seem to be some connection with Jessie Thompson and this man in question, because the autopsy of the Somerton man did find that he had distinguishing genetic features that would only be present in around 1% of the population.
Whoa.
These features were identifiable by he had an unusually shaped ear and the fact that he was missing incisor teeth. I think they were just shaped.
So he's got like his front teeth and then he's got his canines. Is that right?
I think so. Either that or like his own incisor. Maybe it was just the shape of the incisor teeth. Maybe they weren't as pointed as most of the population. Yeah. I'm not sure if he was just missing those teeth. It's possible, though. It's possible. I'm not 100% sure.
But the point is he hasn't. They're genetic. He was born with this funny, distinctive jaw and set of teeth.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And investigators noted these features were present in the son of Jessie Thompson, named Robin. Funnily enough.
Oh. I've got my incisors.
You've got them. Okay.
I've got them.
However,
they're the front teeth, aren't they? Are these 4 at the front, right?
Yeah.
They're the pointy ones, right?
No.
There's the canines.
Canines. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Any dentists in the chat, please let us know.
So they believed at the time that she might have known more than she was letting on about the case due to how she reacted to seeing the cast of the dead man. But they had no justification, apparently, for ordering a DNA sample be carried out on the child to determine if he had the same DNA as the Somerton man.
Well, I mean, at the time, DNA wasn't discovered until 1956, was it?
Well, that would be why as well. Yeah, that would
make a
that would
difference.
definitely not help. But
and it wasn't until the 1980s that I think DNA was used for forensic criminal investigation.
Well, there you go. There you go. And sadly, Robin, I think he passed away in 2009, which would have given plenty of time to have this DNA sample, but it just wasn't carried out. Yeah.
It's. I mean, I guess we'll get onto it later, but it's quite amazing how the revelations have come out so long after a lot of these people who are involved in the case. In fact, pretty much all of them have passed away.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Robin Thompson died in 2009. However, Jesse, his mother, did have a daughter named Kate who had some valuable insights into the case. So in 2013, she gave an interview to 60 Minutes where she claimed her mother told her that she knew who the Somerton man was, but wouldn't reveal who he was. She also claimed that her mother, Jessie, knew Russian and could have been a spy, which is a bit of a...
that's a bombshell. Just drop that in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So obviously that compounded the theories that the Somerton man was a spy, and maybe he knew Jessie because they were both spies and they had a child together. But who knows? But before he died, Robin, he had a child with a fellow ballet dancer, because he was a ballet dancer, by the way, named Roma. And she put the child up for adoption and only recently reconnected with her. Rachel is the name of this child. Growing up, Rachel never knew that she was possibly the granddaughter of the Somerton man. However, a couple of years ago, and this is quite a few years ago now, a researcher who's worked on this case named Derek Abbott, who I think we're going to be talking more about, got in touch with her, hoping to carry out a DNA test to find out if, this bloodline is from the Somerton man, and then they could just definitively prove who the Somerton man was. But it got a bit complicated because Derek and Rachel fell in love and got married and had kids of their own.
Oh.
And they needed, at this point in time, a DNA sample of the Somerton man to carry out a DNA test. And I think at the time that we last looked into this case, they were petitioning the Australian government for that. And
to exhume the body and get a DNA sample. Yeah.
And that leads us up until, relatively recently, where there's been a major breakthrough in this case. But I remember us discussing this case years and years ago, thinking, so I think the conclusion that we came to was, well, it's only a matter of time. This case actually has a very distinctive possibility that it may get solved. And here we are.
Yeah.
Talking about it, yeah.
Love it when a plan comes together.
So what's happened?
Or does it?
Well, we shall see.
What's happened recently?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, I'm asking.
You're asking. Okay. Well, it's been in the news just this past week. And in fact, there was more news today, this very day, at the time of recording, that Derek Abbott, who is in fact a professor at the University of Adelaide, has announced that they've completed their DNA analysis of the Somerton man's DNA. Although ironically, not because his petition to exhume the body to get a DNA sample was actually successful. It was successful, I think, but the body is in such a condition that they weren't able to get any useful DNA from it. Instead, they were able to get some hairs from the death mask that Alex mentioned earlier that had been pulled out by the plaster after they'd done the cast of his face. And they got the hairs out of that and managed to, after a lot of work, because it had degraded quite a bit, get a DNA sample. And then through some what looks like some really intense forensic genealogical research, identify a group of 4,000 people, I think they said, who might be
that's
related.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is one big family tree.
Yeah. And then they've requested DNA samples and compared DNA samples to the hair they got from the Somerton man and found what they think is a match with the family, the Webb family. And so Professor Derek Abbott has announced in this past week that the identity, the name of the Somerton man is actually Carl or Charles Webb.
That's a good name.
There we go.
Good name.
Well, decent name.
Charles Webb.
And as far as we know about Charles Webb, he was just an electrician, I think. Nothing particularly exotic about him.
Well, that's what you think spies are. You think that they're just electricians, somebody normal. And then an instrument maker as well, apparently.
Yes, so a talented man. But what's interesting is that they don't have a photograph of Charles Webb. So the photographs we have of the corpse of Somerton man are still the only photographs we have of him, but we have no photographs of him in life. But today, Derek Abbott published a photograph from Charles Webb's brother, Roy, when he joined the Australian Army in 1940 to fight in World War II. And obviously, for his army file, they took some photos of him, like passport photos. And we can throw this up on screen for the final edited version. But to quote Professor Abbott, there appears to be a reasonable resemblance between Roy and Charles, rather the Somerton man. The general shape of the face is the same, the hairline is the same, and in the army file, Roy Webb's eye color is listed as being hazel, and the Somerton man's eye color was hazel. And I looked it up, and apparently only 5% of the population has hazel eyes.
There you go. I'm just putting up pictures of Roy.
I mean,
thanks, Alex.
I mean, the Somerton man is, of course, dead, but they look remarkably similar, don't they?
For once, someone claiming there to be a resemblance between the photographs of two different people, unlike the vampire theory with Nicolas Cage or whatever. This one, I think there's something there. Yeah.
There's a definite resemblance. Yeah. It definitely looks like they're onto something. It really does.
Furthermore, when doing some research into Charles Webb, they found out he had a wife, Dorothy, I think her name was. Yeah, Dorothy. And they got married in 1941. In October, 1941. And that's important. October 1941. And in October 1951, there was a public notice put in a newspaper in Melbourne where Dorothy lived from Dorothy, saying that she had, and it was addressed to Charles Webb, saying that she'd started divorce proceedings against her husband on sort of desertion. And the law in the UK, and I think Australian law at the time had basically just borrowed UK law, because obviously it would be a colony. To qualify for desertion as grounds for divorce, the partners have to have been proven separated for 2 years continuously. Wind back the clock from 1951, 2 years.
Yeah.
1949. And end of 1948 is when Somerton man is found dead on a beach.
I mean, you'd think that she'd just be able to look at the photos and go, yes, that's him.
But were they published? I don't know if they were published in newspapers at the time. Yeah, because they sent photographs and fingerprints to law agencies all around the English-speaking world, didn't they? To the FBI, to the UK's MI5 and things like that. Scotland Yard.
Publicised,
But I don't know if they actually published any of that in the general press for people to identify the body. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they would publish pictures of the man. They definitely published information widely because they wanted, any information on the case. But I don't know about actually publishing pictures. How many people saw the pictures of the Somerton man that we can just easily see ourselves now?
Surely. Dorothy may not have read the paper.
Could the "it is ended" refer to the divorce?
We decided to leave her.
And
or
either that's a note from him, or it's almost like a note from her or the assassins of like, case closed.
It's still a bit weird though, isn't it? Because why was that note, "It is finished"? Because if it's a suicide or even if it's an assassination, this was found in his fob pocket, which is like a secret pocket as on his clothes. It took them 4 months to even find this note. Why would he do that? Why would either attackers or him, if it was a suicide? Like, why would he not be clutching it in his hands or just in his top pocket? Why would it be in a secret pocket?
Very odd.
It's a good question. Unless it was planted there.
And then why would he just, put the book, chuck the book in someone's car?
I know. I think
that's a good question.
The weird thing, on the one hand, when you kind of set aside the whole the Tamam Shud note and even the book, perhaps, even though there was a common interest in poetry between the nurse Justin, what was it? Justin Thomas?
Jesse,
yeah. Even though they had that shared interest in the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, if you ignore that for a moment and just look at this suggestion that it's Charles Webb. So you got Charles Webb is married to Dorothy Webb. It's World War II. Maybe he gets recruited to be a spy. Yeah. Jo, who's a nurse or trained to be a nurse, is perhaps also recruited to be a spy. She speaks Russian, bit weird. They hook up. He gets her pregnant. She decides to, well, we know this for a fact. She didn't complete her nurse training because she got pregnant. She was just about to take a final exam, and she, I think, she left it on, and her excuse was she had a doctor's note saying that she had been sick that morning. And then she disappears. She moves to Adelaide. She shacks up with another man. She marries him. That's why her surname is Thomas. And she has a child who shares some peculiar genetic features with each. And his body is just a few hundred meters from her house. And they're all kind of, and then his wife divorces him a couple of years later when the allotted time has expired for desertion to be sufficient grounds for divorce. And you just think, yeah, they hooked up, they had a child, he decided he wasn't in love with his wife anymore. He goes to find this other woman. That's why her number is in the book that he's torn the paper from. And his poor wife is just left holding their other babies. But then what I don't get is why he's dead.
Yeah, that's the mystery. That's the real mystery. I mean, who he is one thing, but why he was there, like everything surrounding it was just so strange. Like,
yeah,
the spleen, like potential internal bleeding, but no signs of a murder, no signs of poisoning. Like, why is he on the beach or sat up as well in smart clothes? He's obviously been. I mean, it looks like it's been staged of him. He's been propped up there by someone else. Like, doesn't look like a self-inflicted.
I feel like the fact that the book was gotten rid of, that could be either a suicide thing, or it could be the attacker doing that. Like I can imagine him tearing out that "It is finished" and just tossing the book, giving it throwing it to someone else because who cares anymore? Do you know what I mean?
The classic Jason Bourne uses a phone and then just throws it over a bridge after he's used it, kind of thing.
But the "who cares anymore" is a little bit of it's in direct conflict with the fact that he hid the note in a secret pocket in his coat, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Those two don't reconcile.
It's
also,
really
his clothing, I'd forgotten about that. His clothing has no labels on it for his name, and it was common practice at the time for you to put your name in your clothing because people were poor. It was the Second World War, and unless you were very rich, you tended to have just one set of clothes, particularly smart clothes, maybe one set of working clothes, one set of dress clothes, and you put your name in it, and you'd wear it till it was threadbare, and you couldn't wear it anymore. And
there's no Primark anywhere.
Yeah, Professor Abbott suggests that a common practice might be when you get second-hand clothes, which would have other people's names in, then you'd remove all the name tags.
Yes,
and this may explain why he's got someone else's name, if he is Charles Webb, why he's got T. Keen's name on some of the clothes in his suitcase, because he may have just got a bunch of second-hand clothes from somebody else. And coincidentally, Charles Webb's sister, Frida, married a man called Greg Keane.
Yeah.
Oh, that is odd. That's a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange coincidence. And I think, sorry, not Greg, Gerald Keane, whose birth certificate, his name says Thomas Gerald Keane.
That sounds... So that could explain where the clothes came from.
So he could be borrowing his brother-in-law's clothes to go smartly dressed to reconnect with the woman with whom he had an affair and a baby. But then something goes wrong and he ends up dead. And I think with a ticket for a train that he didn't catch.
Yeah.
Which also is a bit odd.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that, I don't think.
Do you think that there is a chance that Jessie poisoned him if they were both spies and then dumped and then placed his body on the beach?
Yeah, she sends him a message, meet me on the beach. And they meet for a cup of tea on the beach promenade, and then she leaves him there and he dies.
It's just the body, the way the body's left as well. That's what gets me about this. I mean, I guess if you're sat down just enjoying the view and then you realize you're poisoned, you're not gonna, you might not move and you just end up just. It just to me feels like it's a little bit too kind of staged, doesn't it? It does feel a little bit like the body's been propped up there for show. That's whenever I see, it just that's what I get from it. That it's certainly a deliberate act for him to be there. So,
he either put himself there or he was put there. Yeah.
Yes.
And he died suddenly, presumably.
Yeah, well, it has to be. I mean, you'd think that if there was any kind of additional, if there's foul play and a struggle. I mean, and also it was quite a public place, right? It wasn't like hidden, or it wasn't particularly hidden. Like, if you're a spy, would you kill someone in what's essentially like a fairly public space?
He was found though at 6:30 in the morning. So so maybe she moved him there in the early hours of the morning, middle of the night.
Potentially
true. So maybe she let him in to the house, poisoned him, dragged him out to the beach in the middle of the night.
Full-grown man,
a few hundred meters away,
on her own. A full-grown man dragging a body across. That's way too risky.
In a wheelbarrow.
It's way too risky.
But in the middle of the night, Martin, they wouldn't have necessarily particularly good street lighting at that time. 1948.
It's still risky, isn't it? You could someone. Just imagine being in that position though. You've just killed someone. The body's there. A dead body must be incredibly heavy to carry, and then dragging it down to the beach to prop it up.
It's a bit weird, and to be honest, I don't fully like kind of ending this on an accusation based on very little.
Yes,
evidence.
I don't. It's
We're purely speculating.
Just wildly accuse a woman, probably innocent woman, of murder. Yeah, but maybe we could end it on a more positive note by saying or acknowledging the South Australia Police's statement about this, because apparently they have an ongoing investigation, which is one of the reasons that we haven't had a fully detailed description of the research published, because Professor Abbott doesn't want to interfere with the investigation. But the South Australia Police did issue a statement, and they said in the statement that we are cautiously optimistic that this may provide a breakthrough.
Nice. Oh, that's nice.
Which I think that sounds like they're pretty convinced by what he's saying.
Do you know what?
Yeah, and well done, Derek.
Yeah, well done, Derek. And honestly, like, kudos to all the investigators working on this, because I actually think it's a really wholesome story that we're getting new breakthroughs in this. It's a really sad case, isn't it? That someone dies and no one even knows who they are. I think that's tremendously sad. And so for this mystery to still be worked on for decades, almost a century after the fact, and breakthroughs are happening, I think that's really nice. What do they say? They say you die twice. Once when you actually die, and once when your name is mentioned for the last time. And Charles Webb's name was lost to history, but now it's back.
Yeah.
Very true.
No,
Very true.
yeah, that's a nice way of looking at it. And it's such a relief as well for once to be talking about a mystery that has been probably solved or is close to being solved.
Do you remember in the show, the channel that shall not be named, often the mystery files ended as, but for now, it must remain a mystery. Most weeks, and this one, well, it's almost the mystery has been solved, which is a rarity in this this genre. Let's just say,
yeah. But it was that mystery files. Even that one back then was interesting because I remember us filming it and thinking at the time, this one actually could be solved in the near future. And
it's nice for it to finally come around. Your hope, your prediction, Alex, was fulfilled. You've been able to talk about it, and I imagine there'll be a best-selling book published by Derek Abbott, in the near future, and. The name Greg is on my mind today for some reason. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it.
Definitely.
We are not sponsored by Professor Abbott.
And his new book, now available on Amazon Kindle. No. Yes, fellas, shall we move on to the season finale quiz?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There you go. Oh, I think I can hear Robin's buzzer. Was that
Sorry,
your
that was an accident.
I'm afraid you're going to have to answer.
So
it's the answer 3. Yeah.
Season finale time. The scores are: Martin is on 6 points. I am on 6 points. Robin, you are on 4 points. So, Robin, unfortunately, you cannot win this season's quiz. But you can prevent Martin from winning outright this season.
Yeah.
And you can regain a point. So, gain some honor.
I can go and gain some honor. That's a respectable score.
You've got 4 wins at the moment. That's not. You could make it 5. You can make it very
I would
close.
quite like to have a nice round 5, but also I want to. Yeah, I'll do my best, Alex and Martin. I'll do my best.
Yeah,
to make this
Martin. Yeah.
A tense.
I will try my best
to have a tense showdown between the two of you, the two leaders, next week.
Do you know what will really annoy me? Do you know what will actually really annoy me? Is if Martin wins the quiz and then the next episode he's just there drinking from his trophy. That will get my go. I'll freak out. So you've got to stop that from happening, Robin.
Okay. Any listeners in the chat on watching us live on YouTube now? Are they going to join in?
Yes, of course. As usual, for those of you who are watching the podcast live currently, feel free to take part in the quiz as well. The first 3 people that post the correct answer in the chat, I'll say get a point.
That sounds fair.
I'm not keeping score though. I will be, but it'll be kind of informal off the top of my head. So bear with me. Shall we start the quiz? Well, actually, before we do, first I've got to hear your buzzers. Robin, you gave us a quick sample earlier.
An accidental sample.
Let's hear it. What's your buzzer?
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Amazing.
Served me well last week, so yeah.
Was that in a game? Red Alert?
Red Alert 2? One of the Red Alerts,
the cutscenes in that are just incredible.
He gave it his all, didn't he?
When did he do anything else?
Yeah, a surprisingly good cast as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Martin, what have you gone for the season finale?
It served me well last time, so I'm going for it again. Oh, I missed the first bit. Hopefully we'll have that's the car engine starting. That's not quite right. Oh, yeah. No, we've also got to do my knob. That's mine.
Okay.
Just I've got an advert, so there we go.
Bed knobs and
if your doesn't work, Martin, then you feel free to say that out loud in that kind of Cockney accent, and I'll accept that as your buzzer.
I think I'm good. I'm back to the start.
What's
it's just quite
quite
a quick little soundbite, so it does kind of move pretty quickly.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1.
Okay.
Are you ready? In mythology, Romulus and Remus were raised by which animal?
The one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
I hear Robin.
That would be a wolf.
It was a wolf, yes, indeed.
Wolf.
Of course they were.
Famously, wolf, children of wolves. There's a TV series on the moment, isn't there, called Raised by Wolves?
Is there?
But it's all science fiction-y. I think it's by Ridley Scott.
Okay.
Oh, I did not know that. Is it any good?
No.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
It doesn't sound that well publicized considering it's
don't-
Ridley Scott.
I think it's on one of these streaming platforms, one of those,
okay.
pay us and we'll show it to you.
Well,
That sounds
plenty of people in the chat got the answer correct, but the first three people were Doom, Reku97, and Mark Najuanhui. Sorry, I'm completely butchering your surname there, Mark. But
How's it
well done
spelled?
to the three of you. Neijenhuis.
Oh, so like
It's me halfway through that.
Naenhus, something like that.
That sounds more like it'll be more, better than I gave it an attempt anyway. Mark. Let's just go with Mark. He says yes, so yes. So well done to the three of you. Let's go on to question number 2. Oh, Spiffing actually has a bit of information for you, Robin. Raised by Wolves, season 3 was cancelled by the HBO network on June 3rd, 2022.
Everything is nowadays.
Oh, I'm so heartbroken because I didn't watch it, like presumably all the millions of other people.
We're all part of the problem here. So,
Collective responsibility.
Thanks, Spiffing.
question number 2. You ready, Robin? You good?
Sorry, getting a moth.
Okay.
Getting a moth.
Getting a moth. That
Just
is
getting
not
a moth.
required for the quiz.
Bag of moths. Just get
I
a
was
bag of
flying
moths.
by trying to catch it.
Hey, that's a good reference, Martin. To the
Throwback, yeah. You like that one?
Throwback
Good.
to the This Week I Learned from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The velocipede was a 19th century prototype of what?
The one place that hasn't been corrupted by
Robin was
capitalism.
straight in there.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's the bicycle.
Of course, it's the bicycle. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. You're clued up on your 19th century bicycle prototypes.
Well, not exactly. I use that word in a book I wrote. So that's home advantage there. Sorry about
Oh wow,
There you go. Nice.
unpublished, by the way. Just a fun thing.
that's a casual thing that Robin just chucked out there. That
Yeah,
just,
never
used
knew
the
about
word
that.
in a book I wrote, never mentioned
Well-
previously.
Volume 3 out of 6.
Well, the weird thing is, and I guess that's why I'm feeling confident enough to bring it up. It's a mystery book I wrote years
Ooh.
ago, back in 2014, I think.
Right.
After we made a video about Somerton Man, and I was like, this will make a great mystery. So I wrote a fictional mystery inspired by that.
Nice.
Oh wow, amazing. But yes.
Like-
Can you name any other like bicycle prototypes? There's one that you've got to know off the top of your head, surely.
Well, you mean like
Penny,
the penny farthing?
The penny farthing. of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
And looking at the comments, I don't think anyone got it. I think you were straight
right.
in there, Robin. You were too fast.
Well, the clue's in the name.
Velociraptor. Yeah. Okay. Question number 3. 2-0 to Robin. This is going very favourably for me.
Sorry,
at the moment.
Martin.
I'm loving it.
He'll steal it back. He's just warming up.
Okay.
Okay.
Question number 3. Which is Britain's oldest Sunday newspaper, published for the first time in 1791?
There we go.
Oh, Martin.
A Sunday newspaper. That is the Sunday Times.
It is not the Sunday Times, I'm afraid.
Damn.
Oh, isn't it?
It's not. No.
What other Sunday newspapers do we have?
I'm trying to think now. Other newspapers still exist. Okay.
I
Two
think
examples.
I don't think this is right, but the only one I can think of is the Mail on Sunday.
It's not the Mail on Sunday. I'll give you a quick
There we
clue.
go.
Oh, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
No, go for it.
you can give an example. I was. Oh no. Go on. Give a clue.
Well, I'll give you
Why not?
a quick clue, which is that it doesn't
Okay.
have Sunday in the name, so forget that at all.
Oh, okay.
It's not like
Right.
the Mail on Sunday or anything like that.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
goodness.
just having a look, see if anyone's got
It's
it
a
in the
Is the
comments.
oldest. It's the oldest Sunday newspaper that doesn't mention Sunday in the name.
Yeah.
Oh,
I will say that no
actually,
one in the chat has got it so far either. So if you've had a guess,
that a
feel free to have
Sunday?
another one.
Did you say?
What
newspapers are there?
Could it be not really? Do you say a newspaper specifically, like the Financial Times?
It's Britain's oldest Sunday newspaper, published in 1791.
And not the Financial Times. Does that come out on a Sunday?
It's not the Financial Times, no.
Okay. Good guess though. That makes a lot of sense. I can see that.
I'm trying to think of ones that don't have Sunday in their name.
I'm currently trying to think of newspapers. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you have another guess, Robin, then I will give you both another clue.
Okay, I was about to guess something, and I remembered the Sunday edition of it does have Sunday in the name, so I need to come up with a different one. Is it still in publication? That's implied in the question, right?
Let me just double check.
Okay,
I've got something in mind.
Yes.
Okay, I've got one in mind.
Yeah, you go ahead. I can't come up with one. Go for a guess.
The Observer.
It is The Observer. Yes. Well done, Martin.
It's one of the only ones I could think of that didn't have Sunday in it. But I don't think it, Okay.
Very good.
What was 17 something?
1791. It was
91.
It's weird. I wouldn't have guessed that would be published in 1791. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. It sounds like quite a modern newspaper name.
But most of them, you think
about
it, you're most of them just have Sunday in front of it, don't they? Like the Express. It's like the Express on Sunday. It's like
the only one that I could definitely eliminate was the Telegraph, for obvious reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
1791 did not have the Telegraph.
A few people in the comments did guess the Telegraph. Well done. The only person to guess it right in the chat was Daily Dose of Science. Yes. Observer. So good job.
Keeping up the reputation.
So question number 4. It is 2-1 to Robin. Here we go.
Not for much longer.
This year is the 2022 Qatar FIFA World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But which country hosted the first FIFA World Cup?
Ooh, good question.
Corrupted by capitalism.
Good question.
Yes, Robin.
This may be wrong. Because now you said FIFA, right? I don't know when FIFA was founded. But Uruguay?
Oh my God, it is Uruguay. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
This was like a bit of a weird one looking up because there have been different competitions, but as far as I can work out, this was the first recognized FIFA World Cup.
Cool.
And it's on the FIFA website as their first World Cup. So
well done, Robin. That's good knowledge. That.
Yeah. Well, explain them. Can I try to guess the year? Was it 1934?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
okay,
that's fine.
Okay, because
4 years, 34, 38.
Could be wrong, actually. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of whether, maybe.
Only because the only reason I know that, Martin, it's not because I'm a football person. It's because I used to read a comic called Captain Cosmic when I was a kid, and the first issue I bought, he traveled back in time to the first World Cup.
No.
What date did you say, Robin?
I think I said 1934.
Unfortunately not. It was 1930.
Oh, right.
So you're not far off.
I got the second one.
Uruguay, they've won a World Cup or two, I think.
I think so.
I
think they have.
Yeah.
Hopefully the first one. That'd be a bit embarrassing if they didn't.
I think they won one that went to a round robin, I think. I can't remember when that was. But one of them went to a round robin in the end and they won that. Really odd formatting.
What's a round robin in football?
So it's not like a final versus 2 teams. It's like each team plays each other and then whoever basically has the most points ends up winning.
Huh.
So it's not like a quarterfinal, semi-final, final. I think it was like a group. I can't remember.
They just do the whole tournament again. Everybody plays everybody again.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So just looking at the chat there, we had a few people that guessed right. Luca Jaeger guessed Uruguay. They were the first person, so well done, Luca.
Nice. Well done.
Mark also got Uruguay again. So I think Mark's on 2 now. Got 2 points, so well done. And was there one other? No, just those 2. So well done, both of you, for guessing correctly. Right, shall we move on to question number 5?
Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay, here we go. So,
okay.
The next 3 questions are a music round.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm going to say...
Martin might have a strong chance here.
Oh,
I'm
not with
gonna say the
regular
lyrics.
pop, unfortunately.
I'm
Yes.
going to say the lyrics, and I need the song and the artist name.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
If you give me one of the two, you're not getting a half point or anything, but you are
Oh,
giving the
you
other person
both.
an advantage. I
Oh.
need both.
Okay.
Okay. You're right.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to say the lyrics, and I need the song name and the artist name.
Okay.
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 Question number 5. Living easy, living free. Season ticket on a one-way ride. Yes, Martin.
He's living free one more ticket. Am I going for the ride thing? Are we looking at the Beatles Ticket to Ride?
That is incorrect.
Oh, bit of pre-roll there. Good.
It was living easy.
Living easy, living
Living
free.
Living
Season
free.
ticket on a one-way ride.
Nope. It's not. It's not ringing any bells.
Oh wow! I thought that I was a bit worried this one was going to be too easy as well.
Can you sing it, Alex? Could you sing it?
Well, I mean that's the best clue I could give if I gave it my best go. But no, I'm not. I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Fair enough.
People in the comments have got it.
Oh wait.
Okay. Dear, sorry everyone.
One more time.
I've got it, but I can't.
Living easy, living free. Season ticket on a one-way ride.
Nope. Can you
I've got a bit of the tune in my head, but I can't think.
sing it when you got it, Martin?
I'm going to give you
Season
5 seconds,
ticket on a
Martin.
one-way ride. It's like a.
I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and then I'm going to hum the song a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any guesses? You good? Okay, I'm going to give it a go. Living easy, living free. Season ticket on a one-way ride.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was great.
Anything?
That was great. No, still.
Oh my
still don't get
god,
it.
guys! I'm upset with both of you that you haven't got this.
So sorry. Is it a band? Is it a famous band?
Yes. As in, it's yes. You will both have heard this song and the band.
Great.
So I give you it.
Yeah. I'm Martin can have a guess. I think I'm not going to get it this century.
Okay, how about this? Shall I give you... Actually, no, I wanted both. I'm not going to give you one of them.
No, they don't give us one half of it. Just
Yeah.
can you give us a clue to something? I know. Is there another clue you could give us apart from singing it, which was beautiful, by the way? Beautiful.
Very prominent. Okay, yeah, I'll give you a clue. It's a classic rock band.
Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is wrong, but you said living easy, living free, and my first thought was Lynyrd Skynyrd.
That is incorrect, I'm afraid.
It's not. Okay. Very
well. They were active from 1973 to present day.
Oh, they're still going.
Hmm.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna have to move on. This is a
Yeah,
live
no,
podcast.
Yeah, you probably
This
should.
is
I'm
a
just,
lot of
it's
dead
on. I
air.
feel like my brain's beginning together. Yeah.
Who?
Okay. Give it. Throw it our way. Tell us.
It's Highway to Heaven by AC/DC.
Damn it. See, I'm embarrassed. The hell.
Yeah.
There we go.
See, I don't really hear most of the verse lyrics for AC/DC because it's that.
That's the first lines of the song, isn't it?
I believe you, but I tend to just identify the chorus lyrics for them because the chorus lyrics tend to be the title of the song. I can't hear the rest.
They rang a bell, but I don't think I would have got it.
I'm so sorry, Alex. We've embarrassed you. Embarrassed you.
Well, I mean, now I'm a bit worried about where the rest of this music round's going. The first person to get that in the chat was C.S. Drummerson, AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Straight in.
Nice.
Well done.
Very good.
Well done,
Very
Caleb. And Go Now Us Go also got AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Well done, Go Now Us. And great to see you in the chat, by the way. Thanks for tuning in. And then a few other people. Mark also got AC/DC Highway to Hell. So well done. And a few people guessed AC/DC. So congratulations. So no points allotted there. It's still 3-1 to Robin. Question number 6 of the music round. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
That's
Yes,
is that
Robin.
me? Yeah.
Oh,
What?
oh, sorry. No, I heard.
Oh,
was
I
it?
think Robin.
Oh, was it you
reacted,
first?
but I didn't
When did
actually
you
hear
when
your
did you buzz in,
Martin,
Martin?
but
Yeah, I
yeah.
buzzed in after he said the first line. When did you buzz in?
Oh, I don't know. If Alex, if you heard Robin first, then he was first through.
Oh,
You need to
no, you can
increase
I'm
the
2 points
volume.
ahead, Martin. No, you go. You have a guess. You have a guess.
Do you know what? Both of you at the same time.
We can say at the same time.
Okay.
A
In what
one.
order? Title and then an artist?
Yeah, title
Which
and
one?
then an artist.
Okay.
Right, let's have the title first. 3, 2, 1.
Careless Whisper. George
Michael.
Do you know what, guys? I'm so upset that you got that one straight away.
It's much more.
Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
It's a much more memorable lyric. I think that's why.
It's there's some song openings are just iconic, and that one is.
Okay, so well done, guys. So Robin's on 4 and Martin's is on 2.
Ooh. Okay. You can do it. Yeah, Martin can still do it. He can make a comeback. Yeah. It's gonna be tight.
Okay.
Just the way we like it.
Final question of the music round before we go back to normal. Oh, first of all, who got that? Oh yeah, plenty of people with Careless Whisper.
Everybody.
Spiffing was the first one there with Careless Whisper, followed by Luca and C.S. Drummerson. And Spiffing also commented George Michael. So yes, well done Spiffing.
Nice.
And well done a bunch of people. Doom was the first to actually put them both in the same comment. Careless Whisper, George Michael. So well done everyone.
Very good, very good.
Okay. Question number 7.
Okay.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
One place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
I hear Robin. Are you buzzing, Martin? I can't hear your buzzer.
I buzzed. I
You
buzzed
need to
really
sort your
early
buzzer
on.
out. You need to sort it out.
What?
It's not
Can you hear it
working.
now?
What's that got to do with my knob?
Yeah, that came out
Yeah,
nice and clear.
I heard
Nice.
that.
Could you,
Click to pay for an easy.
You need
if
to
you're in
find
doubt,
the
Alex,
video, Martin.
maybe the people at home, anyone listening, comment so Alex can see who buzzed first. Was it me or Martin? That might help.
Who buzzed first?
Because I think
Who
my
shot
buzzer's
first?
louder than Martin's. It's kind of drowning him out with screaming Tim Curry.
I think that could be it. That could be related. Well, let's do the same thing again, shall we? Should we do a 3, 2, 1,
yeah.
or is
Or
that,
was it? What was it?
what's the fairest way?
I'm
of
just
doing
trying.
this?
I'm trying to think of what
When
song
I
was
find
now?
myself in
Yeah.
times
Well,
of
right.
trouble,
Yeah.
Mother Mary comes to me. Okay, so song title first, followed by the band. A 3, 2, 1.
Let it be
by
by the Beatles.
Beatles.
Okay, well done both of you.
Never
Okay,
has
well-
that been said less enthusiastically. by.
Okay,
I
so
was
that's-
at a gig last week. The Bootleg Beatles, the world's
Nice.
most successful and best Beatles tribute band. They've been going since 1980, and they're
Really?
rocking it. They're great. They're
That is
really
quite a
good.
while.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like listening to the Beatles live. It was amazing. Their version of the one exception was when they did "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," where genuinely I just didn't even sound like the Beatles so much as it was just a fantastic version of that song. Bloody love that. It's
Nice.
fantastic. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, sometimes you find that cover bands can actually be as good, if not better, because they have to be so true to the
Mm.
music for people to think they're good.
Yeah.
So it's like
Mm.
you go and see the real band and they're just like putting the microphone out to the audience, like not really bothering, like playing whatever they want to. And then you go to a cover band, and it's like, wow, this actually sounds like it actually is meant to.
Yeah, that's
weird
almost
way.
annoying when bands do that too much when they put it to
Yeah.
the audience. It's like, I don't want to hear the audience
No.
sing. I
Yeah.
want
They
to
do
hear
not
you
care.
do it.
Yeah,
Um,
that did
yeah.
happen quite a lot actually. That with some of the slower ones, that was definitely. We'll just play the piano whilst you sing the song.
Mm.
Good participation.
Well, lots of people in the comments got that one as well. Spiffing was right in there straight away, first up again. Let It Be, the Beatles. Luca was also there with Let It Be, and Mark was there with Beatles, Let It Be, and Doom was there as well. So well done, everyone involved. I think you guys are running away with
Very
the
good.
comments quiz anyway.
I feel like, yeah, the audience may be beating us at this rate. They seem to be pretty hot on this.
You're doing very well, Robin. I will say,
Oh,
and it's
thank you.
5-3 at the moment. As we move on to question 8, Martin, you can still win this.
You can do this. Yeah, you can steal this back.
Okay. But this one I expect is going to be fingers on buzzers for both of you.
Oh,
So
really?
Martin, switch up the volume.
Yeah,
Get it close to your mic. Okay, question number 8. Who played James Bond in For Your Eyes Only?
To my knob.
Place that
Oh.
hasn't been corrupted by
I did hear Martin that time.
You heard knob.
I heard the whole thing.
What's that?
For Your Eyes Only? That was Roger Moore.
Stop getting Bond wrong. No, I'm just joking. That was absolutely right. It was Roger Moore. Of course it was.
Well done.
How is that a good Bond film? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would.
No.
I like it. There are things about it that it's one of the best, I think. Well, sorry, certainly one of Roger Moore's best.
Yeah. It's all relative. Yeah.
It's funny. So anyone who's seen that film, and I don't think this is a huge spoiler, is it, Martin? It ends with a truly bizarre scene.
Oh,
the
yeah,
only
it's
scene,
really weird.
I think, in any Bond movie where a real life political leader appears. And so Margaret Thatcher is immortalized in a Bond film by an impersonator, and it's a ridiculous scene. And I hated it when I was a child, hated it when I was a teenager, hated it in my early 20s, late 20s, becoming an older man, hating the Tories in general. Looking back on it, I'm like, actually, this is fantastic. Margaret Thatcher's preserved forever in this ridiculous piss take of a scene.
Yes,
amazing.
Love it.
So in the comments, most people immediately jumped to Sean Connery. The first person to guess it right was Go Now Us Go. So well done, Go Now Us.
Well done.
Connery.
Well done.
Yeah, clearly not many old school James Bond fans in the chat. So
yeah.
And Doom says, I've never seen a Bond film. So
I mean, if we're talking about eyes, they might have been confused with you only live twice. It's not really the same, is it? For Your Eyes Only, you only live twice. Maybe there's some.
The words sound the same. Yeah. You only.
For Your Eyes Only, you only live twice.
Eyes twice. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
So
there are two eyes.
That is now 5-4 as we go on to question number 9. So Martin, this is getting too close for comfort.
Still got to get this correct. Okay. Right.
Question number 9. What name is given to a biological process that sets itself naturally to a 24-hour cycle?
What to do my knob?
Oh, Martin. Martin was straight in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm going... That's to do with sleep cycles, isn't it? I was thinking of sleep, so that's not right. I was going for... Oh, my God. I've been watching some guy review a car, and now I get... you just get given all of their videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've just got loads of car videos now. I was going to go for circadian rhythms, but I don't think that's right.
That is spot on, Martin.
That is it. That is it. Yeah.
Circadian
rhythm. So I thought that was to do with sleep cycles. I didn't know it was to do.
Well, I mean, it is, but
it is.
It's the biological process of it. The circadian rhythm, setting yourself up for a 24-hour cycle.
Okay, cool.
Circadian
Nicely
rhythm.
done.
Nicely
well
done.
It was on the tip of my tongue, and as soon as you said it, I was like, yes, that's it. So, yeah, well done. Well done.
Thanks.
So it is 5-5 as we get to the question number 10.
He's done it. He's done it.
No, he hasn't done it yet, Robin. He can still. And don't give up yet. Please don't. Because I'll be honest, Robin. I'm rooting for you a little bit here.
This question is about your personal life. So.
And he's got it wrong.
In the book that Robin wrote in 2014.
Quickly had a little bit of a gander.
What is the 50th word on page 21?
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said in the
who got it in the chat? Yeah,
who got it? Daily Dose of Science was the first person to get circadian, and that's probably a relief that you got that as you're called Daily Dose of Science. So that's
keeping
good.
Keeping the standards
also
up,
got circadian, and yeah, that was it. So well done, both of you. Question number 10. This is for who becomes victor of this season in the quiz. So here we go. It's all riding on this. Question number 10. Which country became the first to give women the vote in
One
1893?
place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Robin was straight in there.
I may actually be wrong here. New Zealand?
It was New Zealand.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
Well
done.
Sorry,
done,
Martin.
Robin.
I stole
Well,
that.
very close, very close.
Fantastic work. It was New Zealand.
No bias here.
No bias here.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, but commiserations, Martin. Unfortunately.
Oh, are people kicking off?
What?
Let's have a look. What people in the
I
chat?
imagine everyone's kicking off. That I
It's
didn't
kicking
win,
off,
right?
Prue. Yeah. Oh man, people are angry, Martin. You don't want to look at these comments. They're
fuming.
offensive. Yeah.
Oh, well
Oh,
done,
man.
Robin.
Oh, Doom.
Rec
Yeah, Doom.
97.
Wow.
Doom's quite. Yeah. Yeah. Caps lock. So you've made your point. Wow.
Recu 97 got New Zealand, so well done, Recu 97.
Very good.
Nice.
And also Frederick Hulbeckmo said New Zealand, and Go Now Us Go got New Zealand as well. So well done to the
Nice.
three of you. Congratulations, everyone, for taking part in this week's quiz, and congratulations, Robin, on your victory.
Thank you.
You
I'm
didn't
sorry,
win.
Martin.
You don't
No,
win
no,
the
it's all
season,
good.
but I mean, what do we do now? Do we
Dunno.
say that
What
it
do
was
we
a
do?
draw this
Let's-
season, or do we have a resounding kind of,
I think we have a showdown. I think we have a showdown
Showdown?
next
It has
time.
to be, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Some
between the
kind
two
of
of you. I think we
showdown,
have to. Yeah.
So we start next
Yeah.
season with a
Or
showdown
we-
for who wins the previous season. That feels
we
so
do it like the Ashes. We do it like the Ashes, and if you don't outright win, the person who already has the trophy retains the
don't you
Ashes.
dare. Don't you dare. Well, that should be me, Martin.
It should be Alex. Yeah.
Actually,
Goes
that's
to Alex.
true.
Yeah.
No, good point.
Alex
no, you
won
didn't
it last
season,
time.
didn't you? I forgot about that. Yeah, that was me. I've had the trophy so long, I've just got the idea that I've just won it every time.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Okay, well, hopefully you guys can tune in next time for when we'll have that inevitable showdown. And yeah, thank you
Yeah.
everyone for tuning in. And we shall. Is there anything else that we want to say? Oh, would you like the bonus question? That would be good, wouldn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
bonus
yeah,
question would be
why not?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say,
Yeah.
before you do that, I just want to say thank you, Doom, for the undying support and scrolling through the messages now. I really appreciate it. I could feel your love across the airwaves. And Daily Dose of Science just responded to the circadian thing saying, circadian dose of science. I like it.
Nice,
Lol.
nice.
Also, Love Chat XYZ is just been deleted.
Yeah, I just,
looks like we got some
I think
spam
there's some spam,
there.
so I just deleted it in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
But yes, let's do the bonus question.
Yes, the bonus question.
This is a closest wins question.
Okay.
Roughly, what proportion of their DNA do humans and chimpanzees share?
Oh man.
I don't know. I mean, it's always like, oh, actually, you share 99.8% of your DNA with a banana, and it's like, that
It's
can't be
always
right.
banana, isn't it?
I was going to
always
say,
bananas.
I remember the
Bananas or
banana
chimps?
thing. Yeah. So closest wins, right?
Closest
Yeah, I
wins,
reckon
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Let's do my knob.
Let's go for a nice round 99.7%.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Is that too
That's-
close? That sounds crazy. That sounds way too close, actually. I don't know.
I know small differences can make a big difference in DNA,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's that high.
But
But
did I say
I'm not gonna
99.7?
I'm not going to be a dick and say 99.6, but I do think it's lower than that. So I'm going to go 70%.
70%.
That sounds very low.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Martin, you were closer, very close.
Damn it.
It was 98.5%. So,
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, right.
so pretty
Ooh,
close. I
cool.
think you said the correct theory, Robin, that like a small percentage can make a big difference, and then went 70%. So I don't know what happened in your thinking there, to be honest. But it
You
doesn't
gave up. You
matter. It
gave
doesn't
up your
matter.
love for life on that question.
This is what separates us from the animals, Alex. Don't mock the maths.
But look, it doesn't matter, Robin, because congratulations, you. Oh no, I was going to say you're the season winner, but you were the quiz winner this week.
Yeah.
So
I got 5.
well
yeah.
done. You got
5
5
points.
points on the board. Congratulations.
Nice.
I
Nice.
feel like I'm part of the. I
Well
feel
done,
like I'm
you can-
worthy now. I've
Yeah.
got that gate. I've got that
Exactly.
gate in the tallies, and now we're all the gate, and you two are just slightly ahead of me, and that's fine. Fine with that now.
I should say in the comments who got it closest.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Doom got 98%. That seemed very close. There were a few 99%. 98.9% from Frederick. I think that could be the closest, actually.
Harpo, 98.6%.
Oh, yes.
That's the closest.
That's the closest. Well done, Harpo.
That's really close. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So congratulations, everyone in the chat. And thank you for taking part in this quiz. I hope you enjoyed it.
No, good quiz. Good quiz.
Oh, thank you, Martin. And I hope you enjoyed this topic of the podcast this week. And I hope you enjoyed this season of the podcast. I guess it's worth asking at this point in time, anyone in the audience, if they had any general feedback of the podcast itself. Maybe it's worth leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. That could be good.
Mm-hmm. Or in the comments on YouTube.
Or in the comments on YouTube. Or if you track us down on Twitter at JInterestingYT, or I'm at JustAlexing.
I'm at All Time Robin.
So you can track us down there. If you had any feedback on the podcast or any topics that you'd like to see us discuss next season, feel free to shoot us a message and let us know.
Shoot us. I'm planning to do a Twitch stream tomorrow afternoon. For those of you in the UK, I think that's like 10 a.m. or something for those Central Time in America. Please do join me. Not sure what it will be yet, but it will be another board game. In fact, I've got my eyes on one with a slightly historical bent, but I haven't read the rules yet, so I'll read the rules and then decide whether or not I'm playing it. You, of course, Alex and Martin, are both welcome to join me, but I know that you have kind of actual day jobs, and I spy Orson Welles.
Oh my God, it's there. What?
This is what we'll be playing for next week if I don't break it, which I haven't broken it.
Martin breaks it in spite.
I picked it out. It was in the car. I found it now. It needs a good clean. But I'll polish the trophy for next week.
I can't. You've just had it there this whole podcast.
Oh, I've had it there.
Not saying anything.
He's been sitting off screen. He's just been. He wanted to win. He wanted to win, and he was going to say, "Oh, look what I've got."
The plan was if I won, that would happen. If I didn't win, I present it as a hype for next week, which is what I'm doing now.
Oh my God!
Which I didn't know. It's great. Oh, look at that beautiful thing that I've never seen in the flesh.
Yeah. The lid's a little bit dodgy, but I think it's warped in the heat. But there we go. 102 action.
You don't deserve that trophy. You don't deserve that trophy, Martin.
Left it in the car, and the sun's come through the window like a magnifying glass, just melted the plastic of the cup.
It's in pretty good condition. It's in pretty good condition, to be fair. It's just a plastic lid, So, but the container is metal, so high quality.
I can see how annoyed Alex is.
It's fine because I'm going to win it next week. So stay tuned. But thanks everyone so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with us this whole time.
If you do win, Alex, all you have to do is send me your address and I'll send it over to you.
I've sent you my address. I'm sure I've sent it.
I have not sent the address.
Oh dear.
Okay. Well, we will see you all next season on the Just Interesting podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.